So what is the square root of 7? What do I mean by the square root of 7? Well, we're going to do our best today to try to explain this visually. So before I get into the square root of 7, let's move on to an easier number with a nice visual representation. So let's talk about the square root of 9. Well, visually, if I create a large square composed of 9 unit squares, I know that the side length, therefore, of this square is 3 wide and 3 tall. And so I can say that the square root of 9 equals 3 because 3 squared, or 3 times 3 equals 9. So by finding the square root of 9, what it does is it gives me the side length of the square. Now, the square root of 9 was a perfect beginning point because it's a nice integer. 3 is a nice integer. So when I'm talking about the square root of 7, I'm not going to get a nice integer. I'm going to get an irrational number, but the idea is still kind of the same. Now, if I drew a larger square, I can't get 7 perfect unit squares, but I can draw it in such a way that if I added up all of these, put these together, I would get 7 full unit squares. And so it turns out that to have a large square with an area of 7 means that the side length is going to be approximately 2.64575131. That's the length of each side of this square. Now, when you calculate the square root of 7, which is an irrational number, you're never going to have all of the digits because it's irrational. You'll have a lot of the digits, and that's great, but you'll never have all of the digits. And so we're going to say that the square root of 7 is approximately 2.64575131, because when you take that number and square it, which means multiplying it by itself, you're basically going to get 7. And so the square root of 7 is finding the number that multiplies by itself to give you the number 7. That's what a square root is. You're finding the number which multiplied by itself gives you the number underneath the square root symbol. I hope this was helpful, at least a little bit. God bless you wherever you are today.